His chest heaved as he squirmed and struggled. Tears had already begun to blur his vision, and streams of snot dribbled onto the knotted cloth that filled his mouth, blocking breath and conscious sound alike. Hands on the youth's shoulders forced him downward. The discarded garden seat onto which he was dragged was wet and cold against his naked buttocks, the steel frame rusty and rough against his sweating skin. His clothes had been discarded some time ago. Mud oozed between his toes, and he could feel the sharp pain where broken glass and pieces of stone had punctured the soft soles of his feet. The people around him proved difficult to see. Each wore a powerful head torch that created a contrast between blinding lights, silhouettes, and shadows. Occasionally, when one head turned to the other, he identified the familiar faces of those surrounding him. Once his friends. Large electrical ties secured his elbows behind him, pushing out his chest pigeon-like. All seemed to grow quiet apart from the occasional plop of water hitting some distant dark puddle. But it was the next occurrence that the frightened youth could never have anticipated. There seemed a moment of absolute silence, where satanic forces grew more alive, cooperating fully with the present evil. Even the falling droplets cooperated. But the quiet was short-lived. Hands forced the elastic band of a torch around his head, holding it in position just above the eyebrows. The figure directly in front was handed a staple gun, and immediately the sharp pain made his body twitch as the thin metal staple penetrated the skin on his forehead, and then splayed against his skull, trapping band to flesh. Blood trickled down his sweat-wet face and blended with the snail path of snot. Then another click of the gun, more pain, and then another. Quickly the band was stitched to his head. "We'll need to be able to see your progress, you shit. We'll need to see where you go, and we don't want you to lose the light. The switch will be broken. There's only one way to run, and that's what you do well, right? Little runaway? But you failed at that last time. You were caught and brought home. This time you need to win, or else. The way you run is that way. Get on top of the wall and you'll be safe. You'll be given another chance, just one more chance, but fail, and nobody will hear from you again." The face moved closer, and the garlic vapour, like a small cloud, filled his nostrils. It was pungent, but somehow ridiculously reassuring that he had eaten the same meal. His mind spun. He recognized his error and his recklessness, definitely foolish and certainly inexcusable. Blood dripped onto his thigh before running down his leg to be diluted in the stinking mud. The penetrating beam of light hurt his eyes. It suddenly seemed that his senses had come alive and had increased tenfold. The pumping adrenaline and crippling fear had made sure of that. "You get 4 minutes. 4. Run fast and keep running. You really don't want what is behind you to find and catch you." The speaker spat directly into the captive's face. "That's for your disrespect. You were treated like a son. It's now up to you, bastard." The torch on his head was illuminated, and the switch snapped off before the straps holding his arms were cut. "Go!" they all screamed, the echo reverberating within the confined black space. After a brief pause, his eyes racing and his pulse thumping in his ears, he started his slippery run, arms pumping and eyes wide, into the chasm, into the unknown. Mud oozed between his toes as he moved over the parallel indentations running across the floor, making movement difficult. He just had to get to where he had to escape. He was unaware that an unknown, unsympathetic pair of eyes would briefly watch his progress. "Run, you little shit, run!" they all called, striking in him more fear and uncertainty of what was to come. Their sounds of laughter boomed as they bounced off the stonework. "Get them ready!" Drew Sadler pushed himself as flat against the wall as possible, his breath instinctively held. Sweat now beaded his face as the heavy breathing and whimpering of the desperate youth